Hello, welcome to this Wednesday edition of 10 at 10 or Keynotes, whatever you want to call it. I'm Spencer Koppel. I'm a digital media specialist at Key Media Solutions.
And I am Madison. I am our digital coordinator. And just to let you know, we are trying a new platform. As we get into this, we're trying to use a new platform so we can go live on a few different social platforms. So if it seems a little wonky or anything, let us know if you see anything.
Yep, so bear with us a little bit. And so if you have any kind of questions or comments or anything throughout this 10 minutes that we have with you, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll try to respond to them as soon as we can. But a little overview about what we're going over today. So last time that me and Madison did one of these, we kind of just go over the social media, kind of talking about what's going on in social media stratosphere and kind of saying what's going on. So a little overview, we're going to be doing some more updates on what's happening with TikTok, kind of what that's looking like for advertisers and the app in general. And we're also going to be talking about Reddit as a potential platform for ads and kind of talking a little more into detail about that. And then we're going to be talking about Blue Sky and what that is, how people are using it, and just a little info about that, and then talking a little bit about lawsuits that are currently happening on X for advertisers. So we're excited to get into it a little bit with you guys. And like we said before, if you have any comments or anything, feel free to add them in the chat and we'll respond to them as soon as we can.
Yep, and just to kind of give you a rundown on this is a Keynotes Live is something we'll be doing every Wednesday at 10. And we get to kind of pick our own topics. And Spencer and I are kind of gravitate towards social media. So you can always kind of look to us for some updates in social media news.
Yep.
But I will jump into it. So the first updates I have is going to be on TikTok. The last live that we did, we had an update on the TikTok ban. Now we are halfway through the 75-day extension that Trump gave in an executive order. That is after that 70 days, if there's not 50% U.S. ownership, then it will be banned from the country. And we're still kind of in limbo. I think ByteDance is working. That's the company that owns TikTok. I think they're really trying to determine if it's worth the return on investment to stay in the U.S. and sell off 50%, or if it's just better for them and their shares altogether. There has not been lots of conversations on, or not a lot of like updates on exactly what's going to happen, who's going to buy it, if someone will, but we'll keep you updated as more news comes out. The many senior executives have been leaving the TikTok team, which is kind of interesting. They're not losing their employees. They are being replaced by new employees, but some of their head executives have been leaving for other companies, which just kind of, shows a little bit of the shakiness right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then they are now available. TikTok is now available again in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. When the ban went into effect, Apple and Google did not want to get fined, which is what was written into the ban. But they got a letter straight from the White House that said, we're not going to fine you, put them back on there, and now you can re-download TikTok again. Anyone that had deleted it before the ban was not able to get it back. And then we've been also experimenting a little bit with TikTok as an advertising platform. And we've had some great success in actually getting, clicks and web sessions and traffic from TikTok for our advertisers. They seem to be working really well for reaching target audiences of like younger and middle-aged people. So we will continue to report on that as well. But just to let you know, we have been seeing some success in TikTok as an ad platform. And then also on some news on another social ad platform that's kind of emerging is Reddit. We currently don't advertise on Reddit, but we are kind of keeping our finger on the pulse there because this year they reported from 2023 to 2024 a 56% increase in ad revenue, which is huge. I think this year they had $315 million and ad dollars come through their platform. And so that's just showing, really signifies a lot of growth, and that is kind of emerging as one of the top platforms. I don't think it will rival Meta, anytime soon, but we'll keep our eye on that. And the CEO credits that growth to a better ad load and more impressions being served. They have also seen a really big growth year over year in users, and they're up to 97.2 million users last year. So again, we will keep our eye on that one and let you know if we end up trying Reddit ads out. And if you try them out, let us know what you find.
Yeah. And so kind of continuing off of new programs, talking a little bit about Blue Sky. What is Blue Sky? It's basically a replacement for Twitter or X, depending whatever you call it. Drop in the comments whatever you call it. So it's currently sitting around 32 million users and seeing an increase of about zero point 0.7 users per second. So it's gaining quite a bit of users literally as we speak. Currently, there's not really any plans for the like advertising on the actual platform itself. They said that they're open to it at some point, but I think right now they're kind of just laying the groundwork of getting actual users onto the platform. But currently there are no real plans about advertising. In that case, though, it is doing pretty well with actual organic content. Organic content does do really well there just because it is a new platform and fresh users. If you even get a few followers, you're within like the top whatever percentile. So that's kind of cool that new users, and there's it's a new landscape where new people, new businesses, new anything is able to actually get a decent following there early on and kind of get your foot in the door on this new platform that obviously is gaining a lot of people and users. And kind of talking a little bit more about Twitter and X, lawsuits that have recently been going on. I think it was around 2022, there was a boycott from advertisers. It was around the time that Elon Musk was acquired the company. A boycott happened with a bunch of advertisers where they dropped advertising on the platform itself. And so that kind of came to a head on around August 2024, where lawsuits were filed from Twitter or X for these advertisers saying like basically just antitrust laws, saying that they weren't able to do that. And so recently, I think it was like earlier this month, more companies were brought into this lawsuit. Those being Lego, Nestle, and Tyson, and just to name a few. And so mainly it's just advertisers that are part of the Global Alliance for Responsible Media. And so we're kind of keeping an eye out and kind of just seeing how that goes. But it is kind of just interesting the landscape that's kind of going on, where you have people that are kind of leaving Twitter. You still have people that obviously will still use Twitter, but it's just kind of an interesting landscape for the two apps that are kind of competing for attention, where one doesn't really do advertising, one does, but a slight boycott going on right now. So just a lot of moving parts, a lot of interesting things going on right now. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or any comments or anything, feel free to leave them in the chat. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what Spencer's talking about is really interesting. Like we haven't seen that really happen yet before, that kind of accountability between a platform and advertisers in the social media space yet. So it's kind of interesting to see that conversation or that accountability happening. I'm curious to see if that will kind of change or influence policies and development moving forward for other platforms as well.
Yeah, no, it definitely is interesting too, because I don't think we've really had a situation like this before where it was two direct competitor social media apps. Obviously, you had kind of similar ones. Think of like MySpace back in the day, MySpace to Facebook. Like that jump was somewhat natural. This one's a little bit more abrupt, so it's kind of interesting to kind of see what that looks like in real time, to kind of see what users either staying on the platform, leaving the platform. It's kind of just interesting to see that play out in real time. Mostly as an advertising agency, it's just interesting to kind of just see that.
Yeah, and we haven't it's interesting as well to see the influence of politics in a social platform as well. I think like
Mhm.
looking at, like Mark Zuckerberg or some other like CEOs have not maybe been as, they've had their own, their own uh I don't want to say issues, but they've had their own scandals, but they've never really been in the political scene or field. And so it's interesting to see that kind of, like that boycott and ban coming from a lot of political decisions. And it's just interesting to see that happening. I think of Vine. Vine is like one that
Yep.
a platform that was around for a little while and left. And it didn't seem as big or as conversational as, like potentially TikTok leaving
Mhm.
or people leaving from X. It seems like they're becoming more influential in our
Yeah,
conversations.
for sure. I remember the day that Vine shut down, everyone's just like, "Oh, well, there it goes." But nowadays,
Yeah.
obviously, with TikTok shutting down, it was like, man, like it's people's
Like,
livelihood. So it
no.
was definitely just something. It was completely different. So it's just really interesting to kind of see how social media has developed, not only in daily life, like people's lives, but like businesses. The amount of businesses that are using platforms daily, it's just really interesting to see.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, it'll be very interesting to watch to watch kind of happen. I think something I think about, I think something like Vine didn't succeed because it didn't have an
Mhm.
advertising platform like built into it. And
Yep.
I think that's another reason why TikTok is so hard for people to leave, because a lot of people make money in it, um, through it, whether they're advertising or TikTok shop or influencers. So I'm curious to see Blue Sky. I doubt it will take them long to get ad revenue
Yeah.
up and running.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's something that, from what it looked like it was something that they were kind of wanting to do, kind of just like waiting on. But I definitely think that is kind of a sink or swim kind of thing where advertisers help the platform, obviously, helping not only keep the organic traffic but the advertising traffic. So it's just interesting to see if that's something that they implement sooner rather than later, instead of just kind of sitting on it, like, oh, maybe we will, mostly with the gain that they've been having. Um, so we'll kind of just see how it goes, and just very interesting.
Yeah, and then I think we will end just quickly on a little bit of news about the where we think advertising is going to be taking place, and that sort of the next gen of platform ads. We are really keeping or watching closely for that to be emerging in AI platforms. I think that's kind of the consensus that will be coming soon. It's not happening yet, but be on the lookout for some, chat GPT ads, or
Yeah.
Gemini and all that. But thank you all. Join us again next Wednesday at 10. There'll be some other digital experts from social media or from Key Media talking about whatever topic they want to talk about in the digital marketing space.
Yeah. And if you guys ever have any kind of suggestions for any of these, you can either message us or leave them in the chat here. We're more than willing if it's something cool and interesting and you're wanting to know. I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but if you have something cool, you're like, I want to know this, and it's within our realm, we'll definitely, even if it's outside of our realm of digital marketing, we'll take a look into it and maybe make that into one of these keynotes.
Absolutely. But thank you all for joining us. We will see you next Wednesday at 10.
Yep. All right. See you guys.